How can you nicely imitate the difference between paint wearing off the wooden wings and paint chipping on the metal fuselage? This is what I tried to experiment with on this Soviet Yak-1. In this episode, I'm testing a paint, and yeah, I managed to mess up pretty badly during the weathering. In the previous video, I showed the build of the model, the painting and weathering of the cockpit, along with a small scratch-built upgrade. Check out the earlier episode as well. Now I'll continue from the priming stage. I sprayed the underside of the Yak-1 with AK Real Color AMT7 light blue, and the idea was to use real colors for the whole paint job. But, yeah, I ran into a little problem, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Before laying down the camo colors, I first painted the base materials, brown for the wooden wings and metallic for the fuselage. Some of this will peek through the camouflage, and since wood and metal wear differently, I'll be handling the weathering separately. I masked the wings, hit the metal areas with some chipping fluid, and everything was going perfectly. The trouble comes a bit later. The first camo color, green, went on smoothly with the AK Real Color paint. For the black camo pattern, I originally wanted to use rubber black, but as you may have seen in my LA5 video, I prefer Mr. Hobby tire black instead. Now I'll show you why. I painted the left side of the test card with Mr. Hobby H77 tire black, and the right side with AKRC 805 rubber black, which is listed as the equivalent according to the conversion charts. As you can see, these two paints are nowhere near the same. Next to the almost black shade from Mr. Hobby, the AK Tire Black looks more like a medium gray. I also tested how both paints survive masking, and there's not much difference. They behave pretty much the same. I also tried the AK Rubber Black marker to see how different it is from the bottle paint. As you can see, it's a third shade altogether. But at least this one is closer to black. Real color is supposed to be pretty tough, but I could scrape the paint off with just my fingernail. Mr. Hobby, on the other hand, didn't budge at all. I'm not trying to tell anyone what paint to use. This is far from a scientific test. But for the Yak-1's black camo, I'm sticking with Mr. Hobby. I masked the green areas with ammo masking putty. I like using this stuff. It's super easy to shape and can be removed quickly without leaving a trace. But it's best to work fast with it, because it loves to wiggle out of place if you leave it too long. Let me drop a short ad in here real quick. You curate the collection. Let me handle the craftsmanship. I'm available for custom builds to add a centerpiece to your shelf. Discounts and contact info are down in the description. And then came the exciting part, removing the paint from the metal and wooden surfaces. I masked the aircraft's originally metal sections, and then grabbed Tamiya's red cap coarse polishing compound. I started rubbing paint off the wing's leading edges and the places where staff would usually step. I also touched things up with a fine sanding sponge wherever it felt right. I got a little carried away with the sanding and polishing, so I rubbed off more paint from the trailing edge than I meant to. A quick sponge touch-up fixed it and hid the primer. After that, I activated the chipping fluid with a wet brush and started scratching back the paint. Did you notice my biggest screw-up? Probably not, because I totally skipped an important step. I should have hit the model with a gloss coat before putting the decals on, but nope, I got lazy and figured the surface was smooth enough. Yeah, big mistake. You'll see why in a sec. The decals looked fine at first. I even used some Tamiya softener, but after they dried, you could see air trapped underneath and the edges turned white, and of course, the final matte coat made it stand out even more. You'll definitely spot it in the final model photos. Sadly, there's no real fix for this anymore. And this wasn't the only problem caused by skipping the gloss coat. Yep, the water from applying the decals activated the chipping fluid, and in one swipe, it wiped out a huge chunk of all the work I'd done. I set this aside for a bit and focus on painting the propeller for now. For masking this, I used flexible parafilm, because regular masking tape or liquid masks aren't suitable for this task. The white goes on first. It's way harder to cover the other colors with white afterward. Once the white was done, I masked it off with tape and sprayed the red. The headache was how to mask the white center of the propeller spinner while spraying the front blue. I solved it with parafilm, stretched it over the spinner, cut it out with a template, and trimmed the extra. Then I sprayed the exposed area blue while the white and red stayed perfectly protected underneath. On a propeller spinner of this scale, even flexible masking tape wouldn't have done the trick for the white center, but parafilm worked like a charm. Where the edge wasn't perfect, I just fixed with a brush. I tried to find out what the fuel gauges on the wings looked like originally, but I could only find references for later variants. Experts think the earlier ones were probably the same, so I painted them like that. And just to be clear, these are only the indicators, not the fuel filler caps, so no need to add any paint spills around them. I used a dirty brown oil wash on the panel lines and wiped the excess off with AK White Spirit. Because the base paint is lacquer, it can handle that just fine, even without a clear coat. And this model doesn't have one, as you know, though it definitely should have. After that little mishap, I could finally move on to the tiny bits, the pitot tube, the aerial mast, and so on. Like I said in the build video, Arma Hobby's parts really do fit together nicely. Then came the final matte coat, and after that I added some extra weathering with watercolor pencils. Honestly, this pencil didn't impress me, so I'll be looking for another brand next time. I attached the control surfaces, the propeller, and the landing gear parts, and then used some soft pastels to add dust and dirt to the underside of the yak. And here comes the moment of truth. Did the paint sneak under the masking or not? This time, nope. For the rigging wires, I used strands of fake hair. Normally I go with elastic line, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm using this older, slightly stiffer stuff instead. And the final piece going onto the model is the mechanical gear indicator pin. I know, the decal slip-up is a bit of a shame, but hey, this is how it ended up. It'll look perfectly fine in the display case at home.